What's cracking, everybody? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Leo coming to you from the bird section. Had to get on here to talk all things Philadelphia Eagles and to talk about, some things that I had to, discuss, and what I was wrong about. You know what I'm saying? In particular, what I was wrong about, um, and what all transpired yesterday during Mark Holmes's his live stream. The call in show, and then talking to Game Time Brian and so forth. So just really wanted to touch bases with that and see what the hold on. Sorry about that. Just to talk about all the things that's been going on and seeing what happened and how people are feeling about it. And well, not even seeing what people feel about it, just being on it. Enemy Imani Bentley. What up, Imani? Yeah, yeah, go birds. You know what I'm saying? So look, here's where we are with things. Here's where I'm at with things. When what I was wrong about. Because I went pretty hard at the Dallas Cowboys fan base and front office, the Washington Commanders fan base and front office, and the New York Giants fan base and front office. I went in hard on them, because I said the front offices need their asses whooped, and the fan bases I knew weren't going to understand that, particularly since my delivery was so brutal. But I was wrong. I was wrong when I brought those things up, because the thing that was wrong, what I'm saying, and what I want to apologize for is that I want to say I'm sorry and that I was wrong. I was wrong for not saying one word about Eric Allen getting put into the Hall of Fame. I was wrong for allowing the fun of trolling the Cowboys fan bases and all the rest of the NFC fan bases. That was much more fun and news, and completely forgot to even make mention of Eric Allen getting into the Hall of Fame. I was wrong for not doing that, for not even acknowledging that. And so I'm sorry, Philly. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. My bad. My bad. But they deserved it. Okay? They deserved all that stuff that I said. And if you haven't seen it, check out my previous videos. And I went long last night with Eugene. Shout out to Eugene Moreau and Mark Holmes, but also shout out to Marcus Blackman, Chris Dooley, and Jesse Montanez. For hopping on. We went long. You know what I'm saying? And I was just talking my shit. And it was fun being able to do that. And so, but it was wrong because I did all that and didn't even acknowledge Eric Allen getting into the Hall of Fame. So I apologize for that to the Philadelphia fan base and to Eric Allen himself. But congratulations, bro. It's about time. You should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. But it's not about the time, it's about the right now. And right now, you, my man, are a Hall of Famer. Thank you. As an Eagles fan, to Eric Allen, I just want to say thank you for your service to this team. Thank you for the 14 years that you gave this organization. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you and your family the best, and congratulations on entering into the Hall of Fame. So there you have it. That's what I was wrong about. Now, all that other shit I said yesterday, oh no, hell no. that still stands. Now, so what's happening with the Eagles today? You know what I'm saying? One of the things I'm starting to appreciate, you can see, and this is why it makes it so easy to get caught up in what's happening with the ills of the other teams, is that today practice was pretty smooth. Vic Fangio talked to everybody, and he mentioned some names of some of the players. And one of the things that I know, that when Vic Fangio names, so he don't just throw out a name just to be throwing out a name. If he's saying your name, especially in a presser, what I'm saying, oh, you must have had a really good day. Such was the case for Vic Fangio when it came to talking about Dory Jackson and Eli Ricks battling it out, what I'm saying, for that number 2 DB spot, which is good, And Keely Ringo, you still you better get your ass together. You know what I'm saying? So that was good news to hear. The other thing too is that the Eagles have have announced their newest their latest current depth chart. Right now at wide receiver, we for the first preseason game, you have AJ Brown, Johnny Wilson, Elijah Cooks, and Darius Cooper. You also have Jahan Dotson, Anais Smith, Avery Williams, Taylor Morin, and then you got Devontae Smith, Terrence Marshall, and Giles Jackson and Ife Adayi. You know what I'm saying? So, and then at left tackle, you got Jordan Mailata, Kendall Lamb, Miles Hinton, and Holland Pierce. And then you also have Landon Dickerson at left guard. You got Landon Dickerson, Kenyon Green at center. You got Cam Jurgens and Brett Toth with Drew Kendall. At right guard, you got Tyler Steen, Matt Pryor, Trevor Keegan. Right tackle, you have Lane Johnson, Darian Kennard, Cameron Williams, and Liskin Vakalahi. Vakalahi. At tight end, you got Dallas Goddard, Grant Calcaterra, Kylan Granson, Harrison Bryant, EJ Jenkins, and Nick Muse. And Cameron Letu. Then at running back, of course, you got Saquon, and you got Will, then you got A.J. Dillon. Then you also have Montrell Johnson, Keelan Robinson, Shaderick Powell. And at fullback, we have Ben Van Summeren. He's only one. And of course, you got at quarterback, you got Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, and Dorian Thompson Robinson, and Kyle McCord. I say DTR is too much. Um, that's your offensive depth chart as it stands today, right now. And then on the defense, on the edge, you have Nolan Smith, Aziz Ajulari, Agbo Okoronkwo, and Achuan Mathis. Then you have Jalix Hunt, Joshua Uche, Patrick Johnson, and Antoine Powell Ryland. At defensive tackle, of course, you have Jalen Carter, Thomas Booker, Gabe Hall. You have Jordan Davis, Ty Robinson, Joe Evans, and Moro Ojomo, Byron Young, Jacob Sykes, Patrick Johnson. And then at linebacker, you got Zach Bond, Jihad Campbell, who I heard is having a hell of a camp. They're compare a lot of comparisons to Micah, which we already knew. We have Dallas Gant, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Smael Munden, Lance Dixon. And at cornerback, we've got Quinyon Mitchell, Eli Ricks, Tariq Castro Fields, Perry Nickerson, Adoree Jackson, and Keely Ringo. And then at nickel cornerback, we've got Cooper DeJean, Mac McWilliams, and Vic said Mac McWilliams was also another name that was mentioned. He was having a good camp. AJ Woods and Brandon Johnson. And then at safety, it's Reed Blankenship, Tristan McCollum, Lewis Sign, Andre Sam, and then Sidney Brown and Andrew Makuba. And then you got Maxine Hook. On special teams, our punters, Brandon Mann, Jake Elliott's our kicker. Of course, Brandon Mann is also our punter and holder. Our long snappers are Charlie Huglet, Christian Johnstone, Cooper DeJean is our punt returner, Jahan Dotson, and I Smith. And then on kick return, you have Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon. So there you have it. That's the official, the unofficial depth chart going into our first preseason game as it stands today. Of course, the guys who are the starters probably not going to even play in the preseason. AJ Brown hasn't practiced. He didn't practice yesterday, and he didn't practice today. He's nursing a hamstring tightness, so I think that just out of abundance of a precaution, they're going to just sit him back, tone it down a bit, and let him recover on his own thing. Go Birds. Drew, what up, Leo? I'm at work, definitely listening to Go Birds. What up, Drew? Campbell is killing it. Barkley and Jordan compared him to Micah. That's why I said I did say that, Drew. There's some There's some comparisons to Micah. Still a little too early, but I think just at first glance right now, in terms of where he's got Micah Parson-esque attributes. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if he can put all these things together before we crown him all of that. But it looks like he's seriously trending to maybe potentially be in that for us. And if that's the case, then we struck gold like we already know we did. Um, now, that's it. Of course, iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? Quinyon Mitchell has had a pretty good camp. Again, this is our biggest adversary right now at this point is just about health. If these guys can just make it out of training camp healthy, then I'll feel yeah, something to look forward to, right, Drew? He said I hope Campbell plays Thursday night. I don't know. I don't think so. Not the first preseason game. I think we should hold him back. He's still, I don't care how. I don't. He's come back a lot quicker from that shoulder surgery. I'm just not ready to put him through live fire exercises like a preseason game just yet. I think he needs a little bit more time, to bake. Maybe the second and the third preseason game you put him in there, because then that gives that shoulder even more time to recover, especially wanting to know how it reacts to the first week of practice in pads. And I want to just again out of abundance of precaution. Uh, Mean Metal Mike, what's good? Mean Metal Mike, how you doing, man? I'm sitting up here just talking, Eagles football and everything like that. What's happening around the league. And so, that's my take. I can't wait to see, Moro, Jomo, and Jalix Hunt, these guys, Aziz Jalari. This defense it's shaping up to be a ferocious like defense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see how these guys are going to look, and not just in the even in the preseason, but but when week one comes, but the preseason, I'm not expecting perfection. That's not what I'm looking for. What up, Mikey? What's good, bro? You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for perfection when it comes to the preseason. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see fluidity. I want to see how these guys are around each other, how they're communicating, how they're playing off. Is there a natural feel? And so which is why I'm more willing to be accepting of the mistakes that could be made in a preseason game. That's what preseason is for. Um, Eagles landed Super Bowl 50, yeah, 59 Go Birds. A few more days and we got some Eagles football. Yes, sir. I grew up in a family that watches Eagles, Steelers, and Penn State football, so I'm a diehard fan of all three teams. And you are lucky. You are lucky. You are blessed to be able to go between the Eagles and the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? It's just for me, and that's why I say you're lucky because you can do that. Me, it's Eagles and nobody else. Okay, nobody else. And if you can, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Keep these things coming. I'm trying to look, y'all. I think I'm at like 80 subscribers or something. So I'm in terms of subscriptions and stuff like that. I'm in the baby stages. I'm a newborn. I'm still in newborn status. So help your boy out and please hit like and subscribe on that. Hit those two buttons for me and help a brother out. Let's get these numbers out and share this shit. Share this. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you right now, as of yesterday, I'm still on my shit for real. Because once again, you know what I'm saying, y'all already know. I told a bunch of Cowboy fans yesterday over the weekend that I was going to be insufferable, that I was going to come out hard, because you know what? Here's the thing, um, I've been a channel member for a few Cowboys content creators for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, right? This is what I like, and this is why I invite I invite members of other fan bases to come to the bird section. It's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a respite for just only Eagles fans. Nah, that's not fun to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to make up a peanut gallery. I don't mind being the only peanut gallery. I don't mind having a bunch of Eagles fans in here. But what I do mind, what I do want is what I do mind is that I don't have fans from other fan bases in here. See, I want them. You know, exactly, Leo. It's the birds and no one else. Yup. Um, Leo went in yesterday. The entire down face crashed out. Drew, Drew. If y'all are wondering what me and Drew are talking about, what we're referencing, just go on to Mark Holmes's page. You know what I'm saying? Look at his call-in show. It'll explain everything to you. You know what I'm saying? And while you're on his page, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to Mark Holmes and to Game Time Brian's pages. Because that's where it's comedy gold. You know what I'm saying? It is comedy gold. I have that was my best negative reaction because I've decided to take the posture of being part of the fan base that now currently has the crown. We've got the crown right now. Here it is. This is the latest version of the crown. Okay. And so I'm of the opinion that when you look at for the rest of the NFL, everybody's got to buy down to the Eagles because we're the ones that we won the Super Bowl last. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we're the best team in the league. You know what I'm saying? We are. I don't care what you think about Jalen Hurts and whether he's an elite quarterback or not or a system. I don't care what you think. Whatever you need to tell yourself to feel better about us winning the Super Bowl, that's for you to resolve. That's for you to resolve with. But here's the thing: with the bird section, what I will do is I will allow the bird section to be the platform. See, what I was trying to explain to these Cowboy fans and these Bumander fans was I was trying to explain to them why it's so much fun to be a winner in today's time. Okay. And in today's time, see, the last time they won the Super Bowl, there was no internet. Well, there was, but it was no YouTube. None of that existed. So they don't understand, social media wasn't a thing either. And so they don't understand that when you become a winner, when you become part of a winning organization in today's time, see, I can go into the belly of another fan base and plant myself right in the middle of it and talk all my shit without even having to go to the stadium, without even having to go to the actual city that the other team is playing in. I can go, it's literally like I can go on certain platforms, stand in the middle of that platform, and talk my shit when I go to these channels. That's what it is. And the thing about it is that what's so much fun for this time in time is that as an Eagles fan, everybody else in my division looks like shit organizationally. You know what I'm saying? Organizationally, they all, as I said the day before, a couple of days ago, all three organizations in the NFC East need their asses whooped because I was saying that they, and their fan bases are under some sort of Stockholm syndrome or just mass delusion. Take your pick on when it comes to Stockholm. That's just for the Dallas hostages. Um, Reason the Eagles are the best in the NFC: good ownership, great management, smart coaching, and that's what brings in playing good football. And I couldn't say it even better. Me Metal Mike, he says, don't think Aaron Rodgers is the right choice in Pittsburgh. I'm still salty on Rodgers. He's past his prime years. Well, see, here's the thing. you know, um, if there's ever anybody who doesn't have any excuses, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have no excuses, even with Aaron Rodgers. You know why? Because that's your choice. That's who you chose. You let Russell go to New York. You know what I'm saying? But you've built it seemingly looks like you're building a win now type of team. Getting TJ done in a timely manner. Getting acquiring DK Metcalf and I think they signed or there could be like they're bringing people in. So They got big play Slayers over there and my man Corey Clement. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm sorry, Kenneth Gainwell. Is it Corey Clement or Kenneth Gainwell? No, it's KG. KG's in Pittsburgh too. So, okay. You know what I'm saying? I see what y'all doing. Y'all trying to win now. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like they bringing in that healthy mix of veteran talent with with youth. So we'll see, but they're going to be in need of a franchise quarterback, and I think Aaron Rodgers is just the band aid. I think he's just the band aid that he's the type of band aid that'll like that'll get dirty and frail before the end of the season. Depends. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, rolling back to the NFC East, I'm just, like right now, I'm having such a ball being in this position and being insufferable. And one other thing too, because there's another team who's recently made themselves, unknown to me in terms of with having an issue that their issue with me is still new news, and that's the San Francisco 49ers fan base. Oh my God. Listen, y'all. Your window of opportunity is closing. I ain't saying it's closed, it's just closing and it's going at a significant rate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all think this is or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But y'all got some things y'all gotta take care of. And do not even try to think about inundating me with conversations about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey doesn't is not the flex that y'all think that is anymore. I ain't saying he ain't a flex. It's just not the one y'all think it is. So I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all go ahead and figure out whatever it is. But y'all really do got to get your house cleaned up because Mr. Irrelevant is your quarterback. I just want to leave it at that. You do realize that Mr. Irrelevant is your quarterback. Mm-hmm. Mr. Irrelevant. That's who your quarterback is. Got you. Okay. I'm really excited to see how our young talent does in preseason. Me too. Me too. I'm. That's why I'm invested in the preseason too. I just want to know what our depth is going to look like behind these starters that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we have quality depth? Because we brought in a lot of guys. We brought in a lot of guys, a lot of youngins too. So that's always going, and y'all know that's already going to be exciting in of itself. So, a lot of things are happening here that are, there's a lot of things that are happening that, I think would be, to our benefit to, um, keep going. So with that, I'm not gonna keep y'all on long. I already talked my shit. I don't need to keep driving home. Well, you know what? Yeah, I am gonna beat a dead dog. I'm gonna beat the hell out of it. Because what y'all gonna do? Y'all, it's not like y'all can't say anything. And I meant what I said. I meant it when I said you cannot, you cannot. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan or a Dallas Hostage fan and a Washington Commander fan or a New York Giants fan, I don't care what you think. In all honesty, I'm not talking shit to a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You're not at that train station. That was a couple of stops ago. You passed that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You should just be quiet and just worry about you should not even have the bandwidth to be able to talk shit to a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Not when we got the crown on our head and and our books are straight. Okay, our books are straight. Everybody sold up. I don't think we had. There's nobody on our team that has put on that's submitted a request for trade. There's nobody. Oh, you know what? No, yeah. And when they did, we obliged. Who was it? That was Bryce Huff. Okay, quick. All right, fine. Bye, Bryce. You know what I'm saying? And we got something for him. So okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Next. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem with Bryce Huff was that he saw all this talent on the team, and the writing was on the wall. I can't hang with these dudes. I'm not going to get the play I want because it's too much talent. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? And what's awesome about this time, also just want to point out, is the fact that we are literally and all we've done when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles is just talk about football. Everything about the Philadelphia Eagles is just football related. If you've noticed, Drew said, hold on. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how Youngtown does. Elijah Woods and Terrence Marshall. I got my eyes on them. I got my eyes on Terrence Marshall. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Mike, Elijah Woods is. I heard is making noise. Uh, are you planning to go on any more Game Time Brian's lives? It's Mikey. You know what, man? Only when invited now. Only when invited. I am here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I am no longer a Game Time Brian channel member. Okay, I'm not a paying channel member. I am a subscriber, but I'm not a part of his Zoom crew or anything like that. And that has absolutely nothing to do with being angry or anything like that. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm just of the opinion that it's bad enough that I'm already paying for one delusional fans uh subscription, which is Mark Holmes. I'm not doing it for two. You know what I'm saying? So nah, I'll just stick with just being on Mark's as far as being in the channel member. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a channel member anymore, but I am a subscriber. Okay. And if Game Time were to ever send me an invite to come be on his show or whatever, I will do so, but not as a channel member, only as someone who was specifically asked to come in. And I don't foresee after yesterday and me going in on him and everything. And we talked afterwards. If you go on his live, you look at the one from yesterday. It's me talking to him after we were on the Mark Holmes call in show. So ain't nothing like ain't no like I'm not harboring any bad feelings towards him or nothing like that. That's Game Time, my man. You know what I'm saying? We cool. I'm just not a channel member anymore, but I am a subscriber. That being said, again, do your boy a favor, please like and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Get me over that first goal, get me to that 100. You know what I'm saying? I'm only 20 out, so you know what I'm saying. The more and more people see what's going on and hear what I'm saying, the more and more I get more likes and everything. All right, later, y'all. Peace.